Let's be honest, there's a unique kind of pain that only TV fans truly understand. It's that feeling when a show you adore, a world you've poured hours into, is just gone. No warning, no finale, just ripped off the air. And we're not talking about shows that just fizzled out. We're talking about the series that had it all: die-hard fans, rave reviews, and amazing stories. But were still axed by executives, sparking a level of fan rage that's still burning today. Behind some of the most beloved shows ever are stories you wouldn't believe. Network sabotage, baffling corporate decisions, and shocking betrayals that left everyone in the dark. Today, we're counting down the 10 shows whose cancellations left fans demanding answers, and in some cases, a real ending. Kicking off our list is a show that wasn't just canceled, it was basically buried at birth. Peacock's 2022 crime drama Leopard Skin had all the makings of a pulpy, binge-worthy obsession. It's centered on a crew of jewel thieves who take over a remote Mexican mansion, holding its wealthy residents hostage. What unfolded was a tense, steamy thriller packed with betrayals and dark secrets. But after dropping in November 2022, the show just vanished. No marketing, no renewal talk, and not even a formal cancellation announcement. Just total silence. For the small but devoted audience that stumbled upon this hidden gem, it was a masterclass in frustration and a prime example of a streaming service abandoning its own show before it ever had a fighting chance. Let's be real, creating a reboot that both honors the original and roasts it is a tough needle to thread. But Peacock's Saved by the Bell revival absolutely nailed it. Premiering in 2020, the series was a smart, hilarious, and surprisingly touching comedy that critics and fans fell in love with. It was praised for its sharp, self-aware humor and for passing the torch to a new, diverse generation of Bayside students. But despite 2 fantastic seasons and glowing reviews, Peacock suddenly canceled the show in May 2022. No official reason was ever given, but reports pointed to it being a casualty of a leadership shakeup at the streamer. Fans were completely blindsided. The show had managed to reinvent a classic for a new era, only to get expelled just as it was hitting its honor roll stride. Now, not every show on this list was killed by a network's axe. Sometimes, the creators themselves make the call, but that doesn't make it sting any less for fans. Hulu's Pen 15 was a masterpiece of cringe comedy. Creators Maya Erskine and Anna Konkle starred as their own 13-year-old selves, navigating the beautifully brutal and awkward world of middle school in the year 2000, all while surrounded by actual teenage actors. The show was deeply personal, hysterical, and painfully relatable. But after 2 incredible seasons, Erskine and Konkle announced that would be it. They pointed to creative exhaustion and the sheer emotional weight of producing and starring in such a project, especially during a pandemic. While fans respected the decision, many were still heartbroken, feeling like there were so many more awkward school dances and AIM chats left to live through. This one is a wild ride, a story of both cancellation and resurrection, followed by another cancellation. Girls 5 Eva is a brilliant musical comedy about a 90s one-hit wonder girl group who reunites for another shot at stardom. With its razor-sharp satire and insanely catchy songs from Tina Fey's team, the show was an instant critical darling on Peacock. But despite the praise, Peacock dropped the show after 2 seasons. Fans were furious, but then a twist happened. Netflix swooped in to save the day, picking it up for a 3rd season. The victory was short-lived, however, as Netflix then canceled it for good after that season aired. For fans, it was a roller coaster of hope and heartbreak, proving that even a second chance doesn't guarantee a happy ending in the world of streaming. Based on the best-selling novel, Peacock's One of Us is Lying was the perfect teen mystery box. The show followed 4 high schoolers who all become suspects after their classmate mysteriously dies in detention. For 2 seasons, it delivered suspense, drama, and shocking reveals that kept audiences guessing. The problem? It ended on a jaw-dropping cliffhanger. The season 2 finale flashed forward to an entirely new crime scene, leaving fans with a dozen new questions. Then, just a few months later in early 2023, Peacock killed the show. The network admitted that while they loved the series creatively, it just didn't pull in a big enough audience to justify the cost. For fans, it was a classic case of streaming betrayal, getting them hooked on a mystery only to rip the final chapter out of the book. Disney's The Owl House wasn't just another cartoon, it was a movement. The show built a massive following for its incredibly inventive world, deep lore, and groundbreaking LGBTQ+ representation, following a human girl named Luz who finds herself apprenticed to a witch in a magical realm. So, what went wrong? According to the show's creator, Dana Terrace, a Disney executive decided the series simply didn't fit the Disney brand, feeling it skewed too old. Instead of a full third season, the show was given just 3 44-minute specials to wrap up its entire epic story. The decision, which Terrace said was made so early that the show's massive popularity on Disney Plus couldn't even be factored in, sparked a huge fan backlash. Petitions and online campaigns exploded, but Disney wouldn't budge, cutting short a beloved series that meant the world to its fans. This is a story about a show that put its fans through hell. Premiering on Paramount Plus in 2023, School Spirits had a killer supernatural hook. A teen ghost, played by Peyton List, is stuck in her high school's afterlife and has to solve her own disappearance. The first season was a smash hit, but it ended on a mind-blowing cliffhanger that flipped everything on its head. Then, silence. For months, fans were left in limbo, convinced Paramount Plus had ghosted its own show. It was a cruel wait, especially after that finale. The good news? The show was eventually renewed in June 2023, and Season 2 finally dropped in early 2025. But for a long time, this show felt destined for this list, and fans who endured the agonizing wait will never forget the fear that they'd be left trapped in purgatory forever. Netflix's Shadow and Bone was supposed to be the next big fantasy epic. Based on Leigh Bardugo's mega-popular novels, the series brought the Grishaverse to life, with breathtaking world-building and a cast everyone fell in love with. After a solid first season, Season 2 expanded the world and perfectly set up a highly anticipated Six of Crows spin-off. But in a brutal move in November 2023, Netflix canceled the entire franchise. The reason given was the classic excuse: viewership didn't justify its massive budget. The fan outrage was instantaneous and colossal. The hashtag Save Shadow and Bone campaign went viral, with petitions gathering hundreds of thousands of signatures, and fans even renting billboards to protest. They argued Netflix's own data proved the show was a hit, making the cancellation feel like a cold, heartless decision made by an algorithm, not by people who cared about stories. Netflix's I Am Not Okay With This was a perfect storm of teen angst, dark humor, and superpowers. Released in early 2020, this raw and heartfelt story about a girl navigating high school, her sexuality, and her sudden telekinetic abilities was a huge critical hit. It ended on an incredible cliffhanger, with the main character, Sydney, coming face to face with a mysterious, shadowy figure. A second season was already written and ready to film, but then the COVID-19 pandemic hit. In a shocking reversal, Netflix canceled the show it had already renewed. The streamer blamed the uncertainties and increased costs of production during the pandemic. Fans were devastated. Not only was Sydney's story left hanging, but the cancellation also took away a series celebrated for its powerful and authentic queer representation, making it a gut-wrenching double loss. And at number 1, we have what might be the most infamous and infuriating cancellation of the streaming era. Netflix's The Society was a brilliant, modern-day Lord of the Flies, where a bus full of high schoolers returns home to find their town completely empty. It was a gripping mystery and a sharp political thriller about what it takes to build a new world from scratch. After a fantastic first season that ended with a mind-bending cliffhanger hinting at a parallel universe, Netflix officially renewed the show in July 2019. The cast and crew were all set to start filming, but then, over a year later, in August 2020, Netflix shocked everyone by revoking the renewal and canceling the series. The official excuse, like with I Am Not Okay With This, was the pandemic. But for fans of The Society, this felt like an absolute betrayal. A promise was made and then broken, leaving us with a universe of unanswered questions and a 5-season plan from the creator that we'll now never get to see. From quiet fades to outright betrayals, these shows all have one thing in common. They were ripped away too soon, leaving a massive fan base wondering what could have been. So, what's the lesson here? Apparently, in the ruthless world of television, amazing reviews and a passionate fan base just aren't enough to guarantee survival anymore. The fights for these shows might be over, but for the fans, the frustration is definitely here to stay. Which TV show cancellation still makes your blood boil? Let us know in the comments below.